What we're going to go into now is a bit more of a nicer topic now. A nicer, much nicer. No one's dying. None of that.
Yeah. Okay.
So, no. We're going into our first little topic discussion here, and it is just about it's about DJing essentially. And so the title of this topic is: do we need to see the DJs in clubs? And this has come credit to the Instagram account mood2move.us, right? And what I'm going to show you now is a real DJ booth, and it is in. Okay, so the Instagram account is mood2move.us, but that's the name of the club, right? And this club is in Houston, Texas, right? And this, Dave, is what the DJ booth looks like.
Okay.
And if you look over, he's not even on stage.
Yeah.
So as you see it again, look, as the camera pans over, no one's looking at him. No one's paying attention to him. And if you see, look how many lights are actually on the DJ.
Well, none, basically.
Mm-hmm. And in fact, if you look at all the apparatus that is in front of him, I don't think anyone could even see him. And let me get my notes up here as well, just whilst you're seeing this footage. So, Instagram post from mood2move.us showed their DJ booth in their Houston club, which started a discussion on the idea whether DJ booths in clubs should return to this design, where partygoers don't see who it is. The post states, quote, "Let's bring this back. The booth is a temple, not a stage. The floor is where the real show is." This was filmed at mood2move.us in Houston, a collective, community, and label pushing the culture forward through events and movement, end quote. So, Dave, obviously a bit of a can of worms here, but what do you think about how Mood2Move US says the booth is a temple, not a stage? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's bang on. Now, I wouldn't say this will fit every situation, because DJs now, it's like going to see a band. Do you know what I mean? People will expect to see a show, right? This is where phones getting recorded comes out, all originates from, really. So I don't know if this is going to work in every situation, because there's so many people now and venues and gigs that target like a DJ being visible as a live show, like something you watch. With like stage show, laser shows, like LED backdrops and stuff. And one look at Universe says everything you need to know about that concept, you know what I mean? But this sort of reminds me of the old clubs that, back in the day, as people are saying. I'm pretty sure Gatecrasher was a bit like this. I'm not sure. People were just on a little tiny box overlooking the entire dance floor, do you know what I mean? And they were disconnected from the crowd, but they could see them. And what they say here, they say the booth is a temple, not a stage. But the second bit I actually agree with. The floor is where the real show is. And that is sort of my opinion, because you can have a DJ visible. That's not really the problem. But the problem is people are focusing so much on the DJ, they're not talking to each other and socializing on the dance floor itself. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the real thing I think people need to sort of get back in touch with. And there's many reasons for that. I just went to Pasha last week. It was so loud you couldn't hear anything in the main room. So the main room wasn't for socializing. The main room was for just raving it up.
Yeah.
But then they were very smart. Yeah, but they're very smart with this. They have a garden area where everyone goes to chill out and talk to each other. Do you know what I mean? They have like a little bar on the roof where people do the same. So clubs can incorporate the spirit of that just by having additional rooms that let people chill out and let people talk to each other. I've always said, ironically, some of the best moments I've been to in clubs are the smoking areas, because it's a moment where people can have a bit of a chill out and just sort of chat to each other and like socialize. I don't know. So
yeah, and have a laugh and just
yeah.
And that I often, and I agree with that. And I often find that like I'm sure people will also say,
not that I encourage smoking, but like it's just the way it works. If the entire place is like so loud you can't hear anything. You need a place where people can like still talk to each other. So
Yeah,
that's what I encourage
absolutely.
venues to have multiple rooms for different purposes. Definitely.
Yeah, I was just actually going to say, I'm sure a lot of people have also had the most wildest conversations in smoking areas, and I know me and you have, and I think that's so funny because,
Totally.
like you
Yeah.
just said, I don't even smoke, but like you have to go out there just to get some air sometimes, even if it's in the winter
A
and in the
break.
UK.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. And then that's another thing. How many times have you heard people like overdoing it in the crowd and passing out, for example, right?
Mm,
Um, just somewhere people can take a 5 minute breather. You know what I mean? Something like that. I don't know. There's a lots of smart design choices. Some clubs do really, really, really well. Others just literally don't. So yeah, I'm sure we could make a list one day of our top 10 clubs that sort of
mm.
have a perfect balance. In regards to that.
Ah, yes, the perfect balance, and that's definitely what we are in need of. But I will say, in Fabric in London, I remember in room 2. It's not like this anymore, but I remember it used to have a DJ booth similar to this. It was very like high up in the corner. I think you were there, Dave. One of the times we went, it was very early on, quite a few years ago, and the DJ booth was like really like sort of high up in the corner, and you literally couldn't see who was up there. But obviously they've changed it now where the DJ's at the front, like at the
Sure. Yeah,
back of the room
because that's
now.
what people expect. If you're having a lineup that Carl Cox is playing, for example, you want to see Carl Cox. You know what I mean? That's just a given. But I wouldn't be against room one having that, having that center stage type vibe. But then room two doesn't even have a lineup announced, and it's just the residents, and they just curate the night for room two as it sees fit. And I've talked about room two vibes before, but the main rooms where like the main sort of highlights of the night happen. But room two could even just be a chill out ambient weirdness. It was like that at
Mm,
Space.
yeah.
They had a third room that did that, and they just played just basically chill out music, but like really weird experimental chill out music. And yeah, it didn't get the same footfall as the main room, but it was such a nice contrast to be able to just dip in there and just sort of go, oh wow, what the hell is this? And then again, I think Space was really well designed. Remember they had that upstairs area where people could just sit in like random like chairs and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's just sort of like okay, so they get it. It's not just all about the dance floor. Like clubs are they're different things in different rooms. Yeah.
For those who actually did attend Space before it was high, I actually remember one of the funniest things was seeing the pizza stall by the toilets. You just quickly grab a slice before you go in the toilet or when you come out.
I mean, yeah,
Like
but
if you
yeah,
were like if you could, I'm pretty sure back then, like I don't remember doing it, but like you could you could technically buy a pizza and just go in and use the toilet and like just smash it down it as well. You know what I mean?
so I
But
I, I don't know if this will work these days, but I think the core message is more venues need to think a bit more smarter about how the clubs work in regards to the different rooms, right? So that's my take.
yeah, and agreed. And I think yeah, like I guess with some DJ acts, they are they need a stage because like you said, it's a bit of a show. But there will be those that you can go and see and you don't really have to see him. You just sort of they're there playing the music and they're in the DJ booth area way up like here, like
Mhm.
they're just up there and it's fine, isn't it? But like would you say that a DJ booth like this sort of like how can I best put this? Say if like someone rather famous is coming to play and they're playing alongside residents, but then you don't actually know when they're all playing. Do you think that like just sort of do you think like that the famous artist, so to speak, just doesn't become famous anymore because everyone's on the same page? And you think like do you know what I mean? Like because I think that's where a lot of some DJs would argue to say no they don't want something like this because it's sort of like doesn't harm their reputation, but like, do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Like
in the world of
as a
social
counter
media and
argument,
clout, yeah, you're right. It sort of nulls all that a little bit, and it puts people's focus back on the music.
would you say
Oh,
though that's like where you could say, oh yeah, do you know what? Forget this then. Carry on how everyone's doing it now, or would you actually say like, no, screw that. Like if your music's good and you're famous for it, you'll be fine. What do you reckon?
I suppose the big question is, what's stopping someone from playing someone else's music? That's the big core thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I probably think. A DJ shouldn't have to just stick to his own releases. They should be able to experiment. But as soon as you take away the element of knowing who's actually DJing, it's sort of no one turns up for the DJ anymore, right? They turn up for the club, and I think that's such a big shift in mentality. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, to be honest with you. Like, I think that used to be the case, like back in the day when DJs were kind of unknown. In the early 90s, there were a handful of DJs that were big, but there was many DJs that people just didn't know about because it was a brand new thing, do you see? And then over time, certain DJs got a reputation, and those are the ones that stuck. But honestly, like, look at lineups from like back then. I'm sure. I wish Dan was on here because he'd be able to tell us much more about this even before. Then there's probably hundreds of DJs that never got limelight that are really fucking good. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But they just just didn't get into that pipeline of like self promotion and sort of image recognition.
Yeah, agreed, and that's it, isn't it? Because that's sort of like the idea I was getting at. Because obviously, like you said, back in the day, a lot of DJ booths were like this, and obviously, a lot of the time, you wouldn't a lot of people wouldn't even know who was even playing. And in fact,
Yeah.
actually, if I remember rightly, there is a very famous clip of I forget what club it is. It's a club in Liverpool, and it's filmed in 1990, and they're playing "Enjoy" with Anthem. I don't know whether you've seen that clip, but like that was another classic where basically, I think actually where the DJ's playing is he's facing the wall, and everyone's just dancing in this middle bit. Quite a famous clip, but that is also another example. But I wanted to bring to you another like scenario. Say, for example, you are like the bookings manager or the sound engineer or whoever. Say that you work for this club like Move to Move US, and you're booking someone, right? Say in this scenario, you are showing the DJ turns up like early on, and he wants to do like a sound check, so to speak, and he turns up here before his gig, and you say, right, here's the DJ booth, and he then starts kicking off saying, I can't play here because like no one can see me. What's your response to that?
Yeah, he's got a point. Like, if a DJ sold, if a DJ accepts a gig with the expectation it's going to increase his sort of career, as in his presence, and it isn't doing that, and I think that's kind of a valid concern, to be honest with you. Oh no, it's tricky. It really is. I think there's many layers to this. Like, even the booth you're looking at there, I'm pretty sure some of this like booth design stems from the concept of technology limitations. So like now everything's streamlined. You've got CDJ configurations that are all designed to be used in a certain way. But you go back far enough, there was no standard configuration. Everyone just made things work the best they could a little bit.
Yep.
I suppose turntables would be your biggest comparison, but yeah, I mean, that's when DJ booths are a bit all over the place, and I've seen some wacky booths in my time as well, right? With cassette players in them and even 8-track, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh my god, okay, so this booth was built over time with sort of no real mentality for design. It was just built as it was required, through the years. So I think that's definitely a factor.
And actually, I'm just gonna pause it here. Great statement, because actually, I think that's exactly what's going on in this DJ booth. Because look at the state of this TV monitor at the top, and then I don't know what the hell is going on with any of these things.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what they are.
Like, it's not been designed like well. It's like, it's almost like a student's music studio where stuff's been added to it over time that it's useful in certain scenarios. And yeah, now you've got a tower of technology. I think
it's
half of that's probably not even working. You know what I mean? It's just sort of just there.
I mean, yeah, it does seem off, isn't it? And like even the mixer looks absolutely massive.
Yeah, that's how mixes used to be, like big studio mixes.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, why would you just want 2 channels? What's the point of that? We're going back into the days of before beat matching there. Do you know what I mean? With belt tables. So like, yeah, even belt tables were beat matched, but like there was so much more variation to it, and like setups and controls, definitely.
Absolutely. And to continue on from this as well, I'll read out some of the comments that I can see just from this post. DJ Spinner comes in saying, "Yes, please bring mysticism back to the DJ." Himats421 says, "As someone who's just started out with DJing, I'd absolutely love this. I kind of don't want to be looked at, to be honest. I don't want to be the star. I want to be the soundtrack." That's a very, very interesting comment there. And then a few people here just mentioning about how they're not going to be asked for requests and so on. I mean, hey, they got to climb up there to get to you, right?
I think the technical arguments are definitely valid. Like, the one thing this is perfect for is reading the crowd, because the crowd isn't reacting to you, you're reacting to the crowd. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, you can tell if people are dancing. You can tell, and because people are focusing on with their friends, they're dancing in groups with, you know, with each other, and they can sort of pick the groups apart. Then you go, okay, these guys are enjoying it, but those girls aren't, sort of thing. And then you can start to craft a set based on how the dance floor is reacting just by the music. I think that gets so much harder when you're like in the center of attention, because then you know, you're not reacting to the crowd. Like, you're basically thinking, okay, you know, how do I make sure like everyone that's looking at me enjoys it, you know? So yeah, then you start to think, who's the guy that's tapping his foot versus who's the guy that's just sort of like, you know, completely wasted. I don't know. There's many ways to it.
Yeah, and actually to further on from that, just reading there some two other bits here from underscore Ken Kun. He says, "Quote: I always effing wonder why people are just facing the same direction to watch a DJ. It's lame, and I blame phones. It ain't a movie theater." And also at jasg.ill, he says, "Quote: Beautiful, absolutely. This recent DJ influencer culture caused a bunch of Cade out zombies just to stare and worship the DJ booth. They all should still exist, but we need more of this OG design style. Y'all are dope." I also hear Strikestone says, "Quote: Please and thank you, and introvert's dream. I hate being perceived, but please perceive my music." Beautifully well put there, actually, from Strikestone. But yes, I think in closing, what I would definitely say is, for me, if they came to me and say, "Joe Shang, would you like to do a DJ set at Mood to Move in Houston?" The answer is yes. Dave, if they come to you, what are you saying?
I think you won't have many opportunities to play in a setup like that, so I think it's worth it.
I'm not gonna lie though. And this, I know everyone's going to roll their eyes for all the pro old school DJs there or listening or who are watching, but it does give me a bit of anxiety just to see what on earth he's even playing on. I don't even recognize any of it. So like, I imagine it'd be quite the journey. Do you know
You'd
what
have
I
to bring
mean?
your own gear and then add it to the collection, and that's sort of how this how it even begins, right?
Yeah, because I just think, it's one of those things where I just think, when you turn up and you look at like for those who can for those who can see that, like, I don't really know what the setup is going on there. Like, like, knowing me, I'd probably turn up there and turn the little TV on just for the hell of it.
See, what's the TV for? I don't get it.
Maybe just like watch a random episode of The Simpsons up there or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
great. I'd love that, actually. You know,
Yeah. Or maybe one of the machines is a VCR. I don't know. But
you just
like, yeah, it's
watch some
just
Star Wars while you're DJing it. It's like, oh shit, Obi-Wan's fighting Darth Vader. That's a bit of a meme with me, because little fun fact, that was one of the highlights to Sankey's back in the day. I always remember that. It's so funny.
Oh yeah.
One of their secondary rooms. So they had a main room, they had like an outdoor garden area, but then they also had a movie theater. And I distinctly remember taking a break from the main room, going to get a drink, and a bunch of people just zoned out watching Star Wars Episode 1 while they were fighting, the Darth Maul fight, and they were literally just sitting there looking at it, probably out of their head, sort of things, like, whoa, the lightsabers, sort of thing. And I was like, it's kind of unique. I love this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that, innit? And do you know what? I will definitely say, and that was what Dave's referring to there. For those who don't know, it was at Sankey's Manchester, and that was the
Yeah.
original Sankey's venue before it obviously expanded and then decreased, I guess, in size and shape and so on. But yeah, I'll definitely say those who can be creative with their second or third rooms, if they have them, is just, it's like you never forget it, do you? Because like what year
It's what
was that
makes
when you
clubs
saw that?
unique. Oh, that was ages ago.
Like,
Um,
because like the thing is that was fresh in your mind. You still
yeah,
remember that clear as day, right? But what
yeah.
year was that?
It is literally like 2009-ish, I reckon.
That's crazy. And but
I
like
distinctly remember going to see Above and Beyond in Sankey's, and they would never play in a venue that small now. It just would not
no,
happen.
yeah,
So yeah, it was
yeah.
sort of that sort of vibe back then, totally.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And but that's it though, because like, yeah, like you said, probably 2009, but you remember it clear as day because it was such a creative.
Because it was just funny, and I thought, wow, I've never
Yeah.
seen that, and it's like a house party. Great, I love that so much. And then they had the little quirky things like their garden area. They had a whole like, I think it was the middle of winter, and it was like freezing, but they had like some sand and deck chairs outside, and they went, "It's the beach." And like there was a whole bunch of beach stuff and beach balls and stuff, and everyone was like freezing on these deck chairs, having a drink basically. And I was like, "Yeah, okay, cool." So like they totally like went a bit nuts with like the design of their club. So many others. Like I remember an ice cream van being like selling ice creams in my house in Leeds, and I thought that was always pretty funny. So you go out into the smoking area, and there's a Mr. Whippy just giving out Mr. Whippies to everyone. Like it's stuff like that. I just think so funny. And yeah, I sort of miss clubs that sort of don't take themselves too seriously like that. Really, like yeah.
Oh, yeah, and that's it because it's so funny, isn't it? Because and another one I'll add in there as well for good measure. A few years ago, I don't know whether the Warehouse Project still does this, but do you remember the random bar that would sell Chewits?
Oh god, yeah, I loved that so much. I remember coming
It's
from a
so
night
random,
out
isn't it?
because it was like a £1 for a whole tube of Chewits. And I
But
come
it
back from
had
a
a
night
deal,
out.
wasn't it? It was like £3 for like
Yeah.
three or
And
something
then
like
I had a
that.
fucking pockets full of Chewits. And oh fuck yeah. How many did I buy? What the hell's going on? Yeah.
That was so funny, wasn't it? Because like you go to the bar, you'd be like when when you're on the dance floor or whatever, you'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get a
That was
drink." They're
Warehouse
like,
Project, wasn't it? I
"Yeah,
remember.
where else?" So
Yeah.
like you'd say, "I'm just gonna go for a drink." You cut and like you disappear for like 10 minutes. You come back with the drink and then like a pocket full of
Pocket
chewing.
full of fucking Chewits.
They're like, "Do you want to chew
Lovely.
it?" You'd be like, "Where have you got that from?" He's like, "From the bar."
Yeah,
So
man.
funny.
It's I love stuff like
Oh.
that. And like, I do think some clubs still do this. In like famously you can get ice cream at Berghain. I mean they've got a little ice cream parlor in the club sort of thing. So
Yeah, like I love ideas like this. I am aware that there are those who can sort of like try and monopolize on this because I'm aware that such services are available at Universe in Ibiza, but if I'm not mistaken, it's
yeah.
like a Michelin starred burger joint or something like
I
that.
mean I know you can have caviar on your burger.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, that's sort of wild to
that's
my
very
opinion. Yeah,
OTT in my opinion.
yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about Mr. Whippies in my house. And Schuett's at Warehouse Project was so funny. But enough of Manchester.